Hey lovelies, you're welcome back to Reviews and Recaps. So today I want to talk about Brit Eady being exposed. When we saw the brunch, we all knew that something had to be going on and it just did not add up. So today I'm going to be taking you guys through the updates about Brit Eady. She's been exposed by the event planner. I also want to show you guys the interview that Ralph did, and I want just particular clips, and then we will talk through it together. Okay. Okay, so let me share my screen. This time around, it should be pretty easy. Share my screen. Give me a second. Okay, you guys should be able to see my screen now. So let's go. So Britney Eady called out by event decorator after Brit blamed her for messed up event on the screen. Now, some backstory. Do you guys remember how during the last episode, Brit was basically saying, well, she felt like she told the event planner to do something and the event planner did something else. And she tried to make it seem like it was the event planner's fault for the way the event turned out. The event was so dreadful. It was terrible. Worst event in the history of Housewives, in my opinion. Because how are you at an event without food? Anyways, that's the backstory for those of you who don't know. So now we're reading what the event planner has to say for herself. So here she says, "Hi, I'm Bella. I want to address my appearance on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, where I decorated an event for Brit Eady. As the event decorator, I fulfilled everything I was asked to do and more. However, some behind the scene details weren't shown." Of course, we know that's how production be doing. "I want to be clear. I was not responsible for the food." Okay. Brittany was like, "I'm going to make this clear for those who do not know. I was not in charge of the food. Brittany asked me to design a menu based on her selections, and the restaurant was in charge of providing and serving it." Okay. "Secondly, the venue was not available for private use. The club was open and operating, and me and team arrived early, not late, and was moved around due to production, lighting. Goodness me, what is going on? Lighting, etc. All things that were out of our control. We overdid our job. She chose to, ooh, this is shady, mama. She chose to serve small but bites due to budget constraints, which she confirmed in a message. Oh my gosh. Mm-mm. "I had no control over food, quantity, or service as I am not an event planner or caterer." Okay, so she's simply the decorator. My goodness. So, first of all, even my title saying exposed by the events planner is not exactly correct. So, I need to amend that once I get off this. Once I get off, I'll try and do it whilst I'm on the live, but if not possible, I'll change it as soon as I can. But basically, she ain't the caterer or the events planner, okay? Her role was strictly decor. She offered input and setup, including the use of high top tables and styling the dining table, which she approved. Lastly, any claims that I overcharged or misled anyone are false. I wasn't even. Ooh, what is up with these housewives and not paying people? "I wasn't even compensated for my job and was still in dispute about my balance." Oh my gosh. Mm-mm. "There is a clear difference between an event decorator and an event planner. Confusing the two unfairly shifts Blame. Oh my gosh. That is just crazy business. First of all, for me, I just don't get the fact that you didn't have budget to have an event to bring these ladies over. Let's be clear. Nothing about that event screamed exclusive and unaffordable. I feel like you guys that are watching tonight, I bet like if you guys wanted to throw some sort of event, you guys could have done that without having to be thinking about no like budget, not to talk of somebody who is on a show. You mean to tell me that there was no budget, as in you couldn't even afford to pay this lady properly or to even get yourself an events planner for your first ever event on the show? Like now, forever, we are going to be looking at you as somebody who is broke or just doesn't know how to throw events, because like how, first of all, how are you throwing an event and people are not eating? There's people there. Instead, why not just get some money to rent a private space? I don't know how things work in certain places in the US, but I'm sure that there are certain restaurants and stuff that you could always rent their private room. The only thing is there might be a minimum spend or something, right? Or maybe a flat fee or something that you have to pay, but it never is too bad. I have friends that pay these amounts to have their birthday parties in a private room. So I just don't understand how hard it is to cater for, especially when you're even going to be telling them, oh, you're going to be bringing business to them because of course it's going to be on TV, blah blah blah. You can really, you can really pull them in a lot more with the opportunity to be on TV. So you're telling me that you couldn't find any brand that was willing, that was interested, any restaurants that was interested and was just like, do you know what, let's do this? You tell me you couldn't find one? Nobody was willing to engage? That is very weird to me. That is very, very weird to me. And the fact that you feel like it's even okay and you can get away with blaming this lady who said she was only a decorator, but you made it seem like, oh, she messed up and you had a whole event planner and she didn't do what she was supposed to do. Girl, what was she supposed to do that she didn't do? And the other thing is, why is there even like arguments about money? Like, what is with these housewives are not wanting to pay? And it's like you guys get exposed every single time. Why would you think that this time will be different? Please hit that like button. The likes are not matching the amount of people in the live. So please hit that like button. It is a free way to support the channel. Hit that like button. So it just doesn't make any sense. Like, why are you out here at an event, no food? That is dreadful. And then you're not paying these people. Like, what makes you think that the person, the decorator, whoever it is, will not just come up and speak their mind on social media? We've seen or we've heard people say that Sheree don't pay no bills. We've heard allegedly, okay, sorry, allegedly. hmm We've heard people say Sheree don't pay bills allegedly. Drew don't pay bills allegedly. Why would you want to be added into that? And you're on TV, we're seeing you with a Rolls Royce. Now, I've always thought the money seemed a bit funny because for the kind of cars and the lifestyle that you're portraying, the house that you live in does not seem to be matching. And so now this person is telling us that there was even arguments or there was like some conflicts about like payments, paying them their balance. Like, girl, is you short on cash? Like, what is going on? And I think what I hate about the new housewives is I feel like these people are coming on feeling like they have to form and pretend to be something that they are not. Like, for instance, I feel like Kelly as well, there's been talks allegedly about Kelly ain't got it like that, right? But then she's out here gifting her daughter multiple bags. And then she is out here talking about like cars with her daughter, all that kind of stuff. So it's like, girl, why are you trying to portray a lifestyle that you cannot afford or a lifestyle that you're not accustomed to? It was like seeing them at the golf course, right? It's like, girl, have you ever been to a golf course in your life? So why is this happening at your event? Are you even dressed to be at the golf course? Like with the heels digging into the, like, what are we doing? So it's obvious that these people are trying to live a life that they do not naturally live in their day to day life. They're trying to create an image for us. They're trying to act like, oh, this is really what the kind of life they live. Like, honey, you do not live this kind of life. Because if you live this kind of life, you will pay your bills and you will know how to throw a party at your big age. You will know how to throw an event at your big age. I know people that have never done events on a large scale, but even if they're only inviting 20 people to their event, the event is immaculate. It's perfection. But even if it ain't perfection, think about it. The basic thing that you should always have for your guests is food and drinks. Food, drinks, and where are they going to sit? Those are like those three most important things that you think about when you're hosting guests. Of course, the decor, because you don't want it also to be looking like craziness. So once you have those four things down, it's like that's the basic of any event. And the fact that she didn't do that, and then she had the guts to then throw it on this so-called person who is having to now come out to come and like clear herself. Now the whole thing looks tacky. The truth is, nobody ever even believed Brit when she was saying what she was saying. I just thought, no matter what the excuse is, even if it's like the catering company cancelled at the last minute, you know what you do? You get a friend, you hop in your car, you find a new person on the day. You order, if you have to order food from restaurants and bring it there and have a limited menu or whatever, you do that. The fact that she didn't do that was tacky, was dreadful. It just looks like, girl, what are you doing? So, no, absolutely dreadful. So, I'm not surprised this lady came out. In a way, I'm glad she came out. I'm actually, in a way, think about it. What if we didn't have social media? We would have just been out here thinking, oh, well, to be fair, nobody really believed Brit. But assuming for the people who did, they would be out here thinking, oh, yeah, I can't believe the events manager snaked her, blah, blah, blah. How can she do that to her? She messed up her event. People would have really been like thinking that. But that is so far from the reality, at least according to this decorator, right? If what she's saying is to be believed. So it's just like now social media is like, yo, exposing everybody. Everybody's outside because it's like, if you don't pay somebody, they can come out and say that you haven't paid them and bring out receipts. And the fact that you were even stupid enough, allegedly, to have it in a text message that you don't have the budget, which means the person doesn't just have her word versus your word, the person has receipts. Girl, rookie mistake. If you're going to be doing some shadiness like that, you need to be in person, make sure you're not recorded. Like, girl, rookie mistake. Anyways, let's move on to talking about Mr. Ralph, the drama king. So I'm just gonna go to, first of all, shout out to Bravo Snark side because that's where I got this story from. But now let's move on to the Bravo Shade Room. And I want to talk about, let's talk about this one first, and then I'll talk about the whole Britney.
Facade, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, just to give some heads up, I do not want to be copyrighted, so I am going to be pausing it at times to really speak on it. So just FYI, I don't want anyone like being like, "Oh, why are you posing?" Like I've said it now. Also, guys, hit that like button. The likes are not matching the number of people in here, which is so weird. It's like, girl, just hit the like button. It's free. And if you dislike the content, hit the dislike button. Either way, it helps with the algorithm for me. So please, if you're in here, the one thing I need you to do for me is hit that like button. Thank you very much. All right, let's go.
So you're breaking free from the facade and doing your own thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So how long has the separation been?
2 years,
2 years of separation. So I wonder if he's counting them being like sort of separated or living separate lives, but him, I don't really believe that he's been living in the basement for 2 years. Really? Why is it taking so long? Like, first of all, I know that divorces take time. I know it a lot more than most people may think. I get it. Sometimes divorces take years. I get it. But I feel like him living in the same roof for that long, for 2 years, that is a very, very tricky situation if he's truly lived in that house in the basement for 2 years. That would be very weird and confusing for the kids, in my opinion.
plus.
Ooh.
2 plus.
And you're in the basement.
Yeah.
Why are you in the basement, sir?
You know what? Real talk is because Drew and her attorney actually tried to set me up. You know,
Okay, Drew and her attorney tried to set me up. Here's the thing I need Ralph to understand. First of all, an attorney is basically acting on the instructions of their client. So I hate when people do this when they're like, oh, yeah, you and your clients, like, please. An attorney is acting on behalf of their client. They're not going rogue. So this has nothing to do with what the attorney wants. The attorney is just like, this is just another case for me. I am doing my job. So if my client wants this, of course, you give advice, and your client obviously tells you whether or not they want to take your advice or not. Sometimes your clients may say they don't want to take your advice, and guess what you do? Sometimes you get them to sign a disclaimer, but because you're just like, if you're acting against my instructions and it ends up in ish, then that's on you. I don't want you coming back to come and try and sue me. So that's how some attorneys deal. So just FYI. Sorry, it's just a personal pet peeve of mine.
you know what I'm saying? They were trying to get me kicked out, and he paid for the house too. You know what I'm saying? So it was like this whole entire thing. And so what the judge did was actually smart. You know, she was just like, listen, opposed to me kicking you out and having you pay for everything, I'm gonna just put you in the basement. You got
First of all, he keeps saying about paying for everything. What does Ralph do? Does anyone know what Ralph does for work? Like, if you guys know, please put it in the chat. Because I'm just like, what does Ralph do for work? Because he keeps talking about paying for stuff, doing this. And I'm like, Ralph, what do you do for money? Like, what do you actually do for money? Because word in the street is, allegedly, you were asked to provide your financial documentation, but didn't provide your financial documentation. So I guess my question is, why didn't you provide your financial documentation? Is it because, like, why? Is it because you don't really have it like that? And you're just trying to create a facade and a persona that you have money, but you don't? Is that because I just don't understand? Or are you trying to hide money? Is that it? Because for me, it's just from where I'm sitting, is like you keep talking about how much you're paying for the house and you're doing this, you're doing that, but with what money? That's all I'm trying to figure out. With what money? That's it. That is it. That is all. What money are you using to pay? That's my question. Let's keep watching. Hello to those who just came in. Please hit that like button as you guys come in.
Got your own exit. My basement, 4,000 square feet. Huh. I gotta pay for the house anyway, you know. So no, it is a house. It's bigger than most people's homes. You know what I'm saying? So, and I got everything. I got the movie theater down there. It's like I got the ultimate man cave.
You know what's interesting? I'm looking at Ralph now. And I remember then, initially, when he and Drew were together, I used to think, not a bad looking man. Now I'm looking at him and I'm just like, he's looking crusty nowadays. And maybe it's because now I know like the kind of craziness and the kind of person he is to Drew. And I'm just like, yeah, that's why you're out here looking a little old, man. That's why you're looking crusty now, in my opinion. You're looking older than your age. You're looking crusty now, in my opinion. It's like, what are you doing? Now, first of all, just to clarify, I wasn't trying to age shame. I just mean that he's looking older than his actual age. Like he's looking like he's aging very poorly.
It's an ultimate man cave.
With your own entrance, kitchen, everything.
Podcast room, like studio,
Everything.
Every bar. So I got it all, and it was just but the most important part was it allowed me to really be there and locked in with my kids,
children,
because that's most important to me. That's
all
my heart.
And this is why I'm irritated at Drew, right? Because I'm like, Drew, honey, you were eating off this man's hand just what, yesterday, 2 days ago? And look at all he's saying. I know he may have recorded this before, but still. It's like, this is what he's saying about you and I know he's going to say more soon, but it's just like, the way he's talking about it, yeah, he wouldn't have been there if not for his kids. So he doesn't even value your relationship. He never did, in my opinion. At least that's what it comes across as. So I'm just like, girl, the fact that you even allowed yourself to be played by this man is crazy to me. And when I say that, let me just also clarify, because I know people like to be getting real sensitive. I'm not blaming her for being in a relationship with this man. I'm talking about after the fact. After she has now seen who he is, after she was on Carlos King crying about the fact that she doesn't think he ever loved her or whatever, or something like that. Don't quote me. And now all of a sudden you're eating from his hands. That's my problem. That's my issue with her.
Like, well, my kids, all of this means nothing, because if I didn't have my kids, I would have been gone.
You see? If I didn't have my kids, I would have been gone. So that man ain't even trying to fight for his family. He ain't trying to fight for his relationship with you. He could care less about his relationship with you. All he cares about is his children, according to him. That is sad. Like, nobody's saying don't care about your children, but you have a wife as well.
Facade, you know?
Yeah. So you're breaking free from the facade of doing your own thing.
Yeah.
So how long has the separation been?
Okay, we've heard that. Let's move on to this, because this is really what I want to do.
Drew plays a game on TV, though. You know what I'm saying?
When I say that this man is her up, I hope that she watches this back and reminds herself the kind of person that she married. This man is her up. That man does not want her success. That man does not see it for her in the slightest. In the slightest. And I need her to, if she's sleeping, I need her to wake up and smell the coffee. That man does not rate you. He doesn't. He doesn't. He's out here. Even if you were playing games, even if, right? Why is it his job to expose you, which could potentially result in you losing your own job on the show? A source of income that could help stabilize his kids. That is being married to your up. Because that man does not care about your well-being. He does not care about nothing. All he wants to do is come out looking innocent in the demise of this relationship. I see some parallels and similarities between him and Mattel. And you know how Martel Holt was always very obsessed with wanting to look like I didn't cheat, she cheated first. Like we're supposed to believe that. I didn't cheat, she cheated first. And then da da da, and she wasn't giving me this and she wasn't giving me that, and da 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 da. And had every excuse in the book. And every time somebody is on the side of Melody, he kept trying to bring it back to something that he feels like Melody has wronged him on, and da da da. And so when you think about it like that, for those of you who don't know who I'm talking about Melody Cherie and Martel Holt from Love and Marriage Huntsville. Melody is no longer on the show anyway, but that's just by the way. I'm just saying I see similarities with Martel and who Martel is and who Ralph is. For me, it's no surprise that they are apparently friends. Because if this is how they run their relationships, I'm not surprised. Not surprised in the slightest, to be completely honest with you. Not surprised at all. What I think is interesting is that this man is out actually just outing her and saying she's playing games. And the thing is, Drew may not even be playing games. But the fact is, a lot of fans don't think that she is genuine. They don't think that she is personable. They don't think that she's relatable. They don't think that she is honest. And I feel like Ralph is playing into the narrative he already knows people have about her. So he's just like, ooh, let me come in here and, pull my tentacles in and, put a little sauce on it. And that's why I said it's like being married to your op.
And so she plays a damsel in distress card. And it's amazing for her because
Guys, see what someone says. If he doesn't sound like Marta, pretty much.
it's a role, it's a character.
It's a role, it's a character. But look at her face, dude. That face card can never be declined, honey. She is gorge. Beautiful, beautiful woman.
And she does it so well because she's an actress that
this man sat in front of us and said she does it so well because she's an actress. Honey, it's giving you're an actor too. You need a peach. That's what it's giving. Please hit that like button, guys. That's what it's given. Because, honey, it's giving you want to be the center of attention every single time. Every time. People are finally liking Drew this season. What do? You post that video. You do this interview. It's like people are already loving her this season. They're finally feeling like, okay, Drew, she's all right. She's okay. And now you want to change the narrative. You want to play on the gaps that people see in her and the concerns that people have about her, and then amplify it by saying those concerns out loud as a fact. It's the same way Martel used to say, and I know I'm drawing parallels with Martel and Melody's situation, but I think that there are parallels to be drawn here. It's the same way Martel used to say back then, oh, Melody can't keep a friend, blah, blah, blah. And the reason he knew to say that was because she and, certain people were not talking or whatever. And she's like, ooh, let me sprinkle this in there. And some people have already there were some, negative fans that were saying, oh, she can't keep a friend, blah, blah, blah. Guess what he does? He amplifies that. And then he says to certain people, well, you guys are not going to be friends for long. Things like that, allegedly, okay? Because I may not be remembering it correctly. But from what I remember, that was the vibe. It was almost like putting out information that that people already think about somebody, whether or not it's true or false, and then amplifying it by then making it letting it come out from your mouth as a fact. People are looking at Drew like, oh, she's a little bit, is she acting? Is she real? And then now Ralph comes out to tell us, oh, it's all an act. How convenient. And let's be clear, whether or not Drew is acting, I could care less. It's none of my business. What I hate most is somebody that is meant to be her husband coming out here to try to expose her. That is what I hate. You don't have to like Drew, but a man that behaves like this is a menace, is a problem. So that's all I'm gonna say. Let me keep playing this.
Everything goes. Like she can go and like she could throw a rock, hide her hand, and then cry about it. That junk is so. For a while,
Even look at his face as he's talking about it. It's almost like he's relishing about the fact that he's exposing his wife, the mother of his children, the wife that he spent how many years with, living with. I think that's the scariest part of these things. It's like you live with somebody, you marry somebody, you live, you sleep in that same bed. If they wanted to unalive you whilst you're in that bed, they could have. And you're waking up with somebody for weeks, months, years, not knowing that they are your up. That is a different kind of low. That's a different kind of hurtfulness, horribleness. It is too far. Think about the whole Remy Ma and Papoose. Like, think about how they're airing each other. And it's like, wow, how did it get this bad to the point where everybody is out here just like, rah, 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 rah? Crazy work.
well, I could never really talk about it. Now I can, of course, because we're going through our situation. But that's the game that she plays. You know what I'm saying? So it works for her.
So is it a gift and a curse being married to an actress?
What kind of question is that? What kind of question is that? Also, Drew, whoever did your makeup, chef's kiss. Give them a raise. Now, I don't think you needed lashes. But the face beat, the brows, the lips, everything, the contour, chef's kiss.
I wouldn't say it's a. As long as the actress knows when it's time to act and when the cameras are off,
Ugh, look at his face. His face annoys me now. Because it's just like, oh, as long as she knows when to turn it off. Can you give us an example that would show us that Drew is acting and it's all an act? I can almost bet he can't give us one concrete example. It's the same person who went to speak to. Hold on, sorry, I got a message that distracted me. Sorry, my guest. Yeah, sorry. So even if it's like, think about it, right? This man was the same person that went to speak to Shamia and Portia and could not remember what the name of his podcast was going to be. Like, dude, you couldn't say kings and queens. If that was legitimately a podcast, you had to go into your book to go or your phone to be looking. Like, what are we doing? You're the same person who wants us to believe that, oh, Drew doesn't know when to turn it off and when not to turn it off. Like, no. And let's be clear. I feel like there are certain things that Drew does that comes across as a bit, not genuine and stuff. Yeah, I get it. There are certain things where I feel like she overperforms, blah, blah, blah. I get it. I agree. But there is nothing I'm going to agree to that this man is saying. No, because I feel like he is an op. So I'm taking everything that he's saying and I'm side-eyeing him. Because y'all can't trust him. You can't trust anybody who is smiling so hard at the opportunity to expose their wife. Because they're not divorced as far as we know. So that's your wife. The mother of your children and your key king. Look at his teeth. Like literally out here you know, literally out here, like smiling so hard. You can see all his teeth. It's like, dude, you are exposing your family and you're ha 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 laughing about it. That's crazy.
Saying,
So the cameras are off and she's still in actress mode.
nah, you know what the
If the cameras are off and she's still in actress mode, shouldn't that tell you that maybe it's not acting? Maybe this is actually how your wife is? Like, are you okay, sir?
crazy thing is when the cameras are off, she's actually back to her normal self.
So it's when the cameras are on.
Okay, so when the cameras are off, she's back to her normal self. What's her normal self? Is it that you're used to Drew just going along to get along, not standing up to you, but you feel like when the cameras are on, she's standing up for herself? I'm just like, if she's only standing up for herself when the cameras are on, I would at least appreciate that she's standing up for herself. I'm gonna need her to stand up for herself all of the time, because you can't be out here, you know, feeding or allowing him to feed you, but you're casually doing the most in private or in public, rather. You're doing the most. You're talking about him, talking about your relationship, how he's making things hard for you, but then you're in the same vein out here just being sweet to him. Doesn't make sense. So let me play whatever is left off, if there is anything left.
On when them cameras are on, yo, I'd be like, yo, why did you do that? You know what I'm saying? They make me look crazy. You know what I'm saying? She's like,
Hun, you are making yourself look crazy. Like, are you delusional? You're making yourself look crazy by behaving in this manner, by being out here talking about your wife like that. You're making yourself look crazy, sir. And let's be clear, nobody is saying he shouldn't talk about his experiences. He's going through a divorce as well. She's going through a divorce. You're allowed to share your views and stuff. Nobody's saying he shouldn't. But when you say things like she's playing the damsel in distress, it's a role for her, you're saying all these buzzwords that I feel like Drew already feels sensitive about. Because imagine you're out here showing your real life and everyone thinks you're acting, so no one has empathy for you, right? Think about all of the years that Drew has been on the show. For the most part, people don't really have empathy for her because people always feel like she's performing, she's this, she's that, right? But maybe deep down, maybe this is genuinely who she is and she is not performing. But because everyone assumes and thinks she's performing, she doesn't get the empathy, she doesn't get the support she needs from her castmates, from her friends, because they just think, yeah, we don't know what is fake and what is true. So deep down, she's hurting, but no one is there to really stand by her and look after her and make sure she's good, right? Think about it like that. And then this man, who is meant to be her protector, her provider, then goes out to then use those same things that are the deepest things that she has probably expressed to him as to how she feels, and then is making it like, oh yeah, it's a fact. Da, 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 da. That is the impression I get. Because as soon as I saw that video that he posted, I knew it was all strategic. I knew he was trying to expose her. He was trying to play into this whole, she's a liar, you know, she's just beefing with me for the cameras, because people like that are obsessed with appearances. Anything to make themselves look good. Even though they're the villain, they never want to look like the villain. So if they have to be out here pretending, if they have to be out here making you out to be something that you are not, that is exactly what they will do. Whatever is possible to do is what they will do, just to make sure nobody sees them as the villain. And so I think that's why I think Ralph and Martel are very similar. They're very similar in the way they behave. They're obsessed with the good guy act. They're obsessed with looking like, oh, I'm a provider. I'm the one that looks after us. I'm the one who does all of these things. If you're a provider, provide the financial documents, honey. Let's see how much you earn. Let's see where you get your money from. Why is it so hard to provide those financial documents if you're such a provider, sir? I don't want to believe you're trying to hide assets. So it's like, what are we doing, sir? Right? But I feel like it's playing into the narrative that people have already about Drew. That's what he's doing. It's easy work for him. It's practically light work. The fans have done the hard job for him. Now all he has to do is claim that, oh, what you guys are seeing is really true. But Drew, you played yourself. You played yourself because you were caught sleeping and he posted it. Someone says, did Drew ever find out why he was in Tampa? Girl, I don't think Drew is ever gonna know.
Oh well, that's my inspiration. You know, so it's kind of crazy and it's hard for me to navigate that because I'm not an actress. You know what I'm saying? I'm not an actor.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how to go and navigate the different things. I'm just who I am. So if you say something crazy to me, or you say something that makes me question it, or something cat, then I'm gonna be like that's not true, and then I'm gonna come at you about it. I'm gonna ask you about it. Drew plays a game on TV though.
Wow. This man does not like you. If this is not the perfect example of a man that hates you, I don't know what is. That man hates her guts. I knew it. When a man is telling you that you don't deserve lobster, all you deserve is Lunchables, you should have known that this was your op. This man hates you. And to say that on TV, that man does not rate you.
You know what I'm saying? So she plays a damsel in distress card, and it's amazing for her because you know it's a role, it's a character, and she does it so well because she's an actress that everything goes. Like she can go and like she could throw a rock, hide her hand, and then cry about it. That junk is.
Yeah, we've heard that. So let me just read this comment real quick. Someone says, honestly, I can tell, but my question, Ralph and Drew, is why won't one of you concede for the sake of peace? I'm reading the comments and it's cracking me up. The responses. Somebody said she's supposed to give everything she has worked hard for. We don't know what he's asking for. There is no peace if she can't take care of her family because she's taking care of him. Word. Another person says she should leave her home and let Ralph keep it for the sake of peace. Reality, divorce is messy. Absolutely. Divorce can be very, very messy. No one wants to give up or give in and lose what they've worked hard for. Ralph should be the only one that leaves because Drew is more than likely keeping the kids full time, and he shouldn't want the mother of his children uprooting them and finding a place to stay. He can do that very easily as a single man. Absolutely. But a man like this will not want to do that. So the only way he's going to end up literally agreeing to that is if the court forces his hand. If a court order is made saying the property, Drew and the kids have to remain in the property, then the kids and Drew would remain in the property. But I think if a court order is not made, I doubt that he will agree to that because he has too much of a fragile ego. He has too much of a he has too much of a fragile ego for that. He is not going to let that go, in my opinion. Now, am I saying that Drew is innocent? No, I don't think she's innocent. I think that she does things that makes it hard to 100% push and back her. And one of the things is the video that you guys saw recently, right? So I feel like she makes it hard for her to get the support that she needs because she doesn't have firm boundaries. With a man like Ralph, this is my opinion, you need to have firm boundaries. Because people like him will take the piss. They will take any liberties that they can get. Genuinely believe that, genuinely feel that way. They will take any liberties. If they see an inch, they will take a mile. That's just how these people are. I don't want to say created, but this is just how these people are. And so I feel like Drew doesn't really do a good job of setting those boundaries and sticking to it. With somebody like this, you cannot give them an inch. And I feel like that is what Drew is experiencing. That is what she's paying for. It's a tough lesson, but it's a lesson she's going to have to learn. Because people like that, you have to have strong, firm boundaries with them. If not, they know how to constantly twist the narrative to suit them. They know how to, they will not catch them being abusive to you, but they will record your response. People like that. Right? So she really needs to be very careful. She needs to be on high alert. Don't think that you can be friends with this man. Like, there are certain people that, like, during the divorce, yes, things get heated between the lawyers and stuff, but there's still a level of civilness between them. I think Ralph and Drew are not necessarily in that place. I think Drew would love her family back, but I think Ralph continues to do things that undermine that. Anyways, hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. What are you doing? Hit it, smash it. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And also share with your friend, your sister, everybody, your ex, everybody, honey. Anyways, I will talk to you guys in the next video. Thank you. Bye.